Most Australians believe that we have a choice when it comes to the government that we elect, but we all know that it's not true. Increasingly, the choice is one between socialism or socialism light, between gentle authoritarianism or feather touch authoritarianism, between economic illiterates occupying government benches or economic dunces sitting opposite. Take energy policy, for example. Both Labor and Liberal support net zero. In fact, it was the Liberal Party who signed us up to it.
Australians want a plan that gets the balance right. And our plan to reach what will be our new official target of reaching net zero emissions by 2050.
Labor has put their faith in wind and solar. Liberals look like they'll put their trust in nuclear power. And so we think we are being given a choice. But what gets lost in the argument over renewables and reactors is the fact that both parties are convinced that we are in the middle of global boiling, which can only be stopped by deconstructing our entire economy. Or what about the voice?
And Peter Dutton will be saying the Liberal Party believes in a legislated voice as opposed to a constitutionally enshrined voice.
Labor said a race-based body should be put in a constitution via a referendum. The Liberals said a race-based body should be legislated by the Parliament. And so we thought we had a choice. What people lost sight of was that both parties wanted to create a powerful lobby group open only to people of a certain skin colour. They only disagreed on the way that it should be done. Now, should we talk about digital ID? Both Labor and the Liberals support it. The digital ID is the key to the coming dystopian reality that we are soon to find ourselves in, such as carbon allowances, social credit scores, and much worse. What about the Misinformation and Disinformation bill? A bill that is designed to silence anyone that the government disapproves of. The government will give itself the power to be able to force people to delete anything that the government itself deems as misinformation or disinformation. The government will make itself the arbiter of truth, the single source of truth. The government itself, however, is the biggest purveyor of untruths. Look what they did during COVID. Not much of what they said turned out to be true. Now, this bill was first introduced by the Liberal Party under the former Communications Minister, Paul Fletcher. They didn't pass the bill. So now the bill has magically found its way into the hands of the new Labor Party Communications Minister, Roland, where it will be pushed through into law. Another example of the illusion of choice. Then we have the WHO, UN, and other globalist organisations. Both Labor and Liberal bend the knee to the whims of these unelected and unaccountable globalist tyrants. But then again, I suspect that you already knew that. That's because by now you're starting to understand how our two-party system works. Or should I say, how the two-party system does not work. Now, it's called a two-party system to create the illusion that voters get a choice at the ballot box. Now, the Liberals call themselves the opposition because they argue that we must zig, when Labor say that we must zag. But when you stand back and look at the trajectory of our nation, both parties zig and zag to the exact same crazy destination. The choice is not in where we are going, but only in how we get there. If a dictator says you are being banished to Siberia, but ask if you prefer to be taken there by train or by truck, are you really being given a choice, or are you being taken for a ride? Now, the UAP exists because a real democracy demands that people are given a real choice. A choice about where we are headed as a nation and about the kind of country that we want to be, while Labor and the Liberals exist only to echo one another. Now, I'm in the Senate to provide a point of genuine difference and to remind the Australian people that they do not have to be railroaded to a place that they did not choose. It is in your hands. Make different choices. The days of the Labor and Liberal duopoly must come to an end, or Australia as you know it will come to an end. I'm Senator Ralph Babette for the United Australia Party.